Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play podcast. You have Brian and Black Wolf back for another episode to recap our wild cards and preview Game Week 7. Dan, my man, how are you doing?
Good. It's been a much better week for FPL. Some ups and downs, but more ups than usual, so it's kind of a nice change.
It helps when you wild card, right? Get a fresh new perspective on life.
Sure does. Yeah, other than that, things are going really good.
Love to hear that. And the football was a bit interesting. Only one clean sheet was to be had, and that was from Sunderland. So if you had Sunderland defense, triple up, you're flying. But most of us, especially the wildcard 6 crew, just kind of looking at the wildcard 4 crew with longing eyes. I saw like 5 or 6 clean sheets in a few teams from wildcard 4. I was expecting a few more clean sheets. I know it was a little bit rough, but to not even get one out of Arsenal or City or Liverpool, it's just like, ugh.
And then, of course, the Wildcard 4 crew also had the ability to triple captain Haaland, which we'll talk about.
Yep, and then, I have funds spread for a shitty bench boost. It's not been the right start to the season for me. So I will start quickly with my team here and just reiterate that I was on wildcard, and I'm going to start making up some excuses, quite frankly, because my start to the season has been absolutely putrid. I'm hanging on for dear life over here with the 4.5-month-old, and just not having quite as much time to do the wildcard tinkering as I would have wanted. So Friday night, we finally get her down. She's going through her 4-month regression where she's not sleeping more than 2 hours at a time. So it's been a little rough around here, around the Chin household. But I poured the glass of whiskey. I started tinkering with my team. It's 11 p.m., sliding into people's DMs, trying to get Connor and Jamie Piggott to maybe take a look at the squad. And lo and behold, everyone's going to bed. So it's just me, my glass of whiskey, a couple ice cubes, just because I need to have it a little chilled. And of course, I end up on this fucking random ass team with no Gabrielle in it. And just all week had Gabrielle in the team. Then at one point I had to triple up on Arsenal defense. And I just decided that, hey, maybe I'll just go with Timber and I'll fade Gabrielle. He hasn't been getting any DEFCON, hasn't been doing too much. I'm just not sure if he's worth the price tag. And I went with VVD instead. And I'll be honest, I was projecting out my next weekend because I'm going to London for the first time in a decade. I will be getting right off the plane, and shout out to my boy Kev Johnson. He's helping me hook it up with a ticket, and I'm going to Chelsea and Liverpool. And I decided awesome. I wanted to have multiple assets in that game just because I've never watched a match IRL while owning fantasy assets. So I ended up on Mo and VVD in my side, but no Gabrielle. Womp, womp, womp. All right,
it made me laugh because last week we went through our wildcard drafts, and then the wildcard draft you ended up with was nothing we discussed.
Nope.
I was awake, by the way. I was awake at 11. Ooh. I was available.
I know. I should have. I usually assume you're asleep though, because I know you like to get up for those 4:30 a.m. matches a lot of times. So I thought maybe you're catching some beauty rest.
Well, my brain doesn't let me sleep on those days. I get 3 hours a night every weekend just because I'm naturally worried about the deadline. It's so stupid.
You get more sleep during the work week.
Yeah, I do.
So I ended up, my team's on screen here, but I have, a decent score, 63 points, I believe. And I ended up on Ryan goal with 2, VVD with 2, Timber with 2, Anderson 3, Senesi 7, and Dye 2, Semenyo 7, Mo Salah 2, Reinders 2, Richarlison 2. Wow, that's a lot of blanks. And then, lo and behold, Captain Erling Haaland for 32 points. And then, of course, I have Elderete on my bench. First slot. I even took the time and effort to put him in my first bench slot versus NFO because I knew that if he could come off the bench, maybe he'd be good for some points. 17-pointer, first bench. Fuck me sideways. It's rough. It's rough going here for my FPL season. But I digress. We move forward, and hopefully I'll make some better decisions in the future.
A lot of these points are very bloated because of those. Haaland, 32 points. You take his points out, and it was a terrible game week for everyone. I also played my wild card. Um, it made me laugh because I know on Bucks' wild card, he had Truffert over Senesi, and I saw your comment to him, hey, this is what happens when you pick the non-Defcon guy. And then, of course, you have to eat your words when Gabriel outscores Timber. It's just the way it is. I luckily had Senesi and Gabriel, so I got 20 points from those two. I got 7 from Semenyo. Oh, and we forget to mention the one good thing about your wildcard is you got to swerve Bruno Fernandes, who yet again missed the penalty and finished on -1 point. And not only that, he got 11 DEFCONs. So 11 DEFCONs and a missed penalty in the very first game of the game week. It was not looking good. I was so furious. I'm tired of this guy, man. So yeah, he got me -1 point.
I'll drop some knowledge here. I was listening to a few pods talking about him. His record is 62 of 70 on penalty kicks for his career. And he's
Good.
got 2 out of his 8 misses in the last 6 game weeks. That's insane. 25% of his missed penalty kicks for his career have been the last 6 game weeks when he's very highly owned, and super frustrating to not even get the 2 points on DEFCON.
That's insane. I mean, it changes the whole narrative about him. He was a essential, and then he misses a penalty, and everyone's like, we need to get this guy out. If he'd have scored that penalty, he'd have been on another 10-pointer. He'd have been in everyone's team. It really goes to show just what one penalty miss can do.
Totally.
Yeah, having said that, I am a little worried that Mbumo might take penalties off him at some point, but I don't think so. I think he's the captain. He'll take them again.
I would say 3 strikes and you're out is kind of what I'm thinking, right?
Maybe.
It's like if you're a captain,
Maybe.
he'll give you one more chance, but there's plenty of capable penalty kick takers. And he's changed his run up. He's not doing his little skip hop that Jorginho used to do as well. And he's missed a few lately.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that and the Haaland points, the rest of my team did nothing. But I got 69 and a 2.5 million green arrow, which seems like a lot. But then when you saw a lot of other managers playing their triple captain for that 48-point haul, you can't help but feel a little disappointed. The players like Ndai and João Pedro and Gyökeres and Tarkowski, they all did nothing.
Yep. Not a lot of points to be had for just overall top 25 players this game week. So if you had Semenyo, Gabriel, and Erling Haaland captained or triple captained, you're flying. Those are the 3 players that really got points. Everybody else shot the bed from my perspective, right? I didn't see many other scores. Maybe a few Crystal Palace DEFCONs from like Richards or something like that, but very, very frustrating game week, I would say. But we're on the up and up. We got a few transfers in the bank waiting to be deployed at a future date. And this game week, like I said, just the small things in FPL that kill you. Earlier in the day, I was so optimistic, and then that as the day unfolds, going in extra time in some of these matches and just seeing the chaos, and you're like, wow, okay, Gabriel's just gonna be on a little 4-pointer, no big deal. And then of course he comes in with a dong because he is a donger, and he gets yet another goal off of a corner.
He was lucky not to get sent off. I don't know if you watched
we'll discuss that a little bit later. All right, now I'm going to jump into shout out the manager of the game week of our Press Play Palooza. Code is on the screen here for our YouTube visitors. It is PELL04. That'll be officially closed to new members after the game week 7 deadline. So going through up to the deadline of international break and game week 8. So prizes in there. Get involved. We appreciate you for joining us for the wild ride ahead. And shouting out somebody who just absolutely spanked the game week. Oh my goodness.
And he has one of the coolest names I've ever heard, by the way. Valentin Grabanovsky.
Wow, you crushed that. Maybe you should go through his team. 95 points. Oh, yes. Vladimir. Very nice. I like that. FFC Fosters. Maybe he likes to enjoy a cheeky Foster's beer, which is quite frankly terrible, and they don't even drink it in Australia. I can tell you firsthand, I didn't have a single one when I moved there, but in America, people do like to drink some Foster's. So 95 points. He has his team on screen here. Sanchez in goal for 1 point. Diouf, a 5-pointer. Then De Kuiper with a cheeky 8-pointer. De Kuiper still in the squad starting? That's a bold call. And then, of course, Elderete, 17-pointer in the back line. Semenyo, Mo, Ndoye, Reinders. Pretty interesting shout to have Ndoye there from, not Ndai, Ndoye from NFO. And then João Pedro, triple captain of Erling Haaland for 48 and Gyökeres. So that totals 95 points. Sheesh. What a nice week. Every time I read through these managers of game week, you're like, why can't I have 1 week like that? 10K overall game week rank. That's what dreams are made of.
All you need is 1 week and you're up like 5 million places.
That's right.
I'm not coming lately.
That's right. All right, I'm going to pull up some of the results on screen. We're just going to go through a few notes and notables, some highs and lows for us during the game week. And just to go back, and I think a big talking point this upcoming week is who to get from Arsenal, especially if you did not wildcard them in either on game week 4 or 6, what your take is there. And they looked very strong, even though they were down 1-0 up until the 84th minute or whatever of that match. But I thought they created a ton of chances in the first half. They're playing at St. James Park, tough place to play. And they end up pulling a Liverpool and pulling one out of their ass for a 2-1 victory. So what is your take here on Gyökeres and the likes of Saka?
Yeah, I still think having triple Arsenal for the next few game weeks makes sense. And I still think double defense is the way to go. I know they conceded this game, but they still looked very solid. I still think they're by far the best defense in the league. So yeah, I think double defense is the way to go. Plus, when you look at their attack, they're a lot more loaded in attack this season than they were last season. They have the likes of Eze. He played the game at the number 10, but then Odegaard came on. For all we know, next game Odegaard could play and Eze could get benched. Saka came back. I know he got like 60-something minutes because he's coming back from
70.
injury. But I wouldn't even say he's fully nailed anymore with the Champions League because they probably rested him that game so he could play in the Champions League game. Then is he going to play 3 games in a week? Possibly, but maybe not the whole 90 minutes. So
yeah, could be some 57-minute subs in his future if they're going to manage him properly. And obviously they just gave Wanyeri a contract. Madueke is out, but Wanyeri can definitely deputize for 30-plus minutes in any match they play. So I would not be surprised to see some inconsistent minutes coming up for Saka.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I still like Gyökeres as the third asset. I know he's not doing a lot lately, but this is when their good fixture run comes in. He doesn't have a lot of competition right now. Although for all we know, Marino could play a game at striker. He keeps scoring. We just don't know. But I still think Gyökeres is the best third option. And another reason why I'm saying that is because who else would you pick in that front line? The attackers are just so sparse right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And Gyökeres, he had a few chances, but he scuffed a few of them. Like I thought he looked all right, but you zoom out, he's got 3 goals in 6 matches. Not bad if he could continue that for the whole year. But since 2 of them came against a crappy squad, I think he had that 12-pointer in the blowout. So I think you want a little bit more consistency from him as he builds his career in the Premier League. But 9 million, it's a lot. Even Saka, I'm just like, oh man, if you're not on pens, do I want to pay 9 million? Same goes for Bruno, by the way. If you were to lose pens, see you later. See you never.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, definitely not a pick.
It is interesting to talk about penalties, by the way, because in this game, Arsenal probably should have gotten a penalty. It went to VAR, but when they gave that penalty, it was Saka that had the ball. He was holding it the whole time. It remains to be seen whether he would have put it down and took it, or if he was just holding it to give to Gyökeres. We don't know that. It'd have been nice to have that
Saka's
information.
a master gift giver. He's just too nice of a guy. He'd probably give it to Gyökeres.
It'd have been nice to know that for sure, though, because I still have that slight doubt in my mind.
We'll never know.
Is not taking them. Because if he's not taking them, I'm not having a 9 million non-penalty taking striker. He'll be gone straight out my team.
For sure. And I will say, just the razor thin margins of FPL. Timber had amazing header where he squirts into the box from the right side and the ball gets plopped over the top and he almost heads it in. Then out of nowhere, Pope just grows each of his fingers like Pinocchio. The length of these fingers all of a sudden were like a foot long each and he just tips it away. And of course, I get 2 points from him on my team. And then later, Gabriel comes in with a dong moment, 13 pointer. Unbelievable. Oh, that killed me. That killed me, man.
I imagine.
It was rough. It was rough. But I would say whoever you bring in, Gabriel is a must. I don't have him, but I'll be tripled up on Arsenal defense at some point. I think I'm just not jazzed about the Arsenal attack. Like it looks pretty solid, but it looks like very much like they're going to share a lot of goals. So there will be instances where Saka might look good, but he only plays 57 minutes. We've seen him score a goal earlier and then come off with an injury. Gyökeres, at least he's fit. I think he has that going for him. I don't know when Kai's coming back, not for a while yet. So lot to see with this team. But overall, as like a squad, because they have more depth, they look pretty good. I did want to note that Saliba started on the bench in this game. He's also been nursing a little bit of an ankle injury. We saw Mascara kind of give away the cheap corner that led to him falling down. And then Voltemade comes in with the 6'5" header for a goal. So now Voltemade, 2 goals in 3 matches, I think. He's got a couple headers, and he's not known for headers, but the young lad is making them forget about Isak, who's 0 goals, 0 assists so far in the Premier League. So it's good to see that, at least from a cheeky standpoint.
Definitely.
Any other matches here you really want to chat about? I mean, probably just jump to City. They started pretty slow.
There's a few games to talk about here.
Yeah, they started pretty slow, and then they really ratcheted it up. And then Burnley do what promoted teams do and just gift Haaland a couple goals at the end. Good Lord.
Yeah, as a non-triple captainer, when it got to like the 91st minute and I saw that Foden had got 1 point, Haaland had only got an assist, I was like, oh, what a great game for us wildcarders. And then, of course, boom, 2 last-second goals.
Boom and boom. Right in the baby makers.
The good thing is Foden didn't do anything. They also conceded against Burnley, and I think a lot of people put in Man City defence that game. I even was tempted by Donnarumma and Gvardiol myself for the guaranteed 6-pointer in this game, which I was wrong about.
I know.
2 own goals by Steve. 2 own goals. Some people had him come off their bench.
My brother-in-law was joking around with, is Steve worth a transfer and he's scoring goals left and right? Oh my goodness.
I tell you, one player who I considered on my wildcard was the goal scorer for Burnley, Anthony, at 5.5. I really like the look at him.
Ooh,
I was really strongly considering him for the bench.
He's gotten a couple price rises, scored a lot of goals so far for them.
I kind of wish I went there, but instead I put the 0.5 in defense instead. So.
Oh yeah, I'm looking back at my just last week, my Salah and Haaland draft that has Doku in it, who looked pretty great. He was dribbling around like crazy, served up a couple assists, and that's got Gabriel and Senesi and Haaland, and that would have been a lot of points. Richards, oh my goodness, how did I end up on the wrong Salah Haaland draft? Brutal. All right,
and then one more game I do want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about Wolves. We're not talking about that. We're going to talk about the Everton game today. It finished 1-1. It was very interesting because West Ham now have Nuno as their manager, of course.
That's right.
So I think they're going to be a much better team, especially defensively. And I know a lot of people are looking at DEFCON defenders. But Diouf, who is currently 4.4 million, he basically looks like a left winger or a right winger. He's so attacking. He takes so many crosses. He's going to get... How many assists has he got already? I think 3-4 assists already. I'm really liking the look of him.
2 that I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I might actually swerve to him in the next couple of game weeks to use him for their good fixture run. And I also like the look of Bowen. I kind of wish he was a midfielder, but if Gyökeres is not on penalties and he continues not to get goals against his weaker opposition, I kind of like getting a differential in Bowen.
Yeah, his price tag is 7.7. He dropped quite a bit, and now he's got 3 matches where he's done what Bowen always does, and just let's see, in the last 4 matches he's got 9, 2, 9, 9. So he's scoring goals and getting all 3 bonus points in those matches. So something definitely to note. The team looks putrid, but Bowen just always trickles along with 10, 15 goals, 8 assists. Like, he's just a perfect fantasy player. You
If
don't really
Nuno
want to
can get
watch
them
all their
playing,
matches, but
oh yeah, good
yeah.
point.
Yeah, you don't want to watch the matches a lot of time, but he's good for it. I mean, some could say that about Manchester United too. It's like you don't love owning Bruno, but if you didn't watch the matches and you just looked at the totals, you're like, oh, I got an 8-pointer here, I got a 10-pointer here, I got a couple blanks. You'd be like, yeah, not so bad. But then you watch, and you're like, oh God, where is he? He's not even on the screen. All right. I think the other thing too, Chelsea's going through some woes right now. Back-to-back red cards. You hate to see it because people are like, oh, I picked João Pedro. He started off the season really hot. And then Maresca just takes off every single attacker when they go down to 10 men and have no balance. They're just like, we'll just try and park the bus, and clearly doesn't work. So next time Chelsea goes down to 10 men, hopefully just leave an attacker on. See if you can counter one time in 45 minutes. This is like, Christ, I don't know what's going on there, but that's, I think, 3 losses on the bounce. Pretty bad. Lost to
I'm not
Bayern
going to
in
worry
Champions
too
League.
much about Chelsea or João Pedro for now, because like you said, they've had 2 red cards in the last 2 games. It's kind of hard to properly judge them
Yep.
when that's happening. If they have a game where they have 11 versus 11 and they still look terrible, then I'll probably start to worry. But right now, who are they going to play other than João Pedro? No one. And he's going to be on penalties while Palmer is out.
And now we get to face Liverpool coming to the Bridge. But Liverpool is coming off of a bad loss where they look pretty poor. And Crystal Palace is clearly their bogey team. My goodness, I think like the last 3 matches, they're whooping the shit out of Liverpool. The wingbacks have pinned back their attack, and that Glasner just has Liverpool's number at the moment, it seems like. But they're going to be revved up and a little bit anxious to get a result now versus Chelsea, people are dropping like flies from this team. It is a little bit dire at the moment, so I would be worried going into that match.
Well, I personally have no issues playing attackers against Liverpool. I don't think they're as strong
Yeah.
as
I'm
people.
just saying, like, as a Chelsea fan, I'm
Oh,
saying
as a
it
Chelsea
looks
fan, oh yeah,
it looks a little dire. Yeah, I don't think I see like maybe a 3-0 or a 3-1 if
maybe.
Chelsea don't show up. But yeah, no, definitely if you have João Pedro, you hold him. No rush. There's no attacker that you really need to jump on at the moment. I'd rather roll a transfer and try and figure out what your other bigger macro moves are in your squad. Lastly, who else is on this list I wanted to call out? Leeds and Bournemouth was like a fun match out of nowhere. I didn't know that Krupi Jr. was going to come off the bench and rescue a point at the death, but both of those teams, I think, are just like interesting. Like they're not built with superstars, but they're just like 2 interesting teams, and watching them so far this season, they're kind of 2 of my teams. Like I'd be happy to spend 90 minutes and watch either of those teams play.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. Bournemouth have always been an entertaining team. So have Leeds. You know, they always have good games, especially as a neutral. I actually watched that game during that time. It was a very good game to watch. And
And
Semenyo got his goal.
Rodon
So glad I
4.0
got
comes
him.
in with a headed goal.
Yeah.
Semenyo goes with the low blast
I
underneath
don't
the
know what the
wall.
point of that guy lying on the floor underneath the wall was. He just laid there and it just went right past him. Everyone looked at him like, what the fuck are
Yeah,
you doing?
what do they call that? The sleeping man? It's just like,
Yeah,
oh, dude, pay some attention, move your leg.
I know. It's hilarious.
Oh, goodness. All right. That's a quick review of some of the notes and notables from the week prior. Taking a look now at some of the matches to target for FPL points. And like we said, Arsenal versus West Ham at the Emirates. You expect a 3-0 victory here for the likes of Arsenal? Or do you think the new manager bounce could keep West Ham at least a little bit interested?
I don't think Nuno has had enough time to put his stamp on the defense yet. So I still think Arsenal at home have enough to score a few goals against them. I also think, like I said earlier, Arsenal are just an elite defense. It's Bowen I'm worried about. That guy just constantly scores goals. But other than that, I'm very happy going into that game with 3 Arsenal assets. And I think that's probably the standout game there. The captaincy, if you want to be different. If you're not going for
I like it.
Erling Haaland. But Erling Haaland, last game of the game week at Brentford. Easy choice for me.
Look, I will also be attending that match, so I'm very excited to be captaining Haaland this week. Spoiler alert as we get into transfers and captaincy shouts, but I will be taking the whole fam to that match, and yeah, I'm
1-0
excited for that
Brentford.
one. I know, right? Could you imagine? Good lord. I mean, I'll have Reinders and Holland cap, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I will make sure though I'll be sitting with the home fans. I will be quietly fist bumping if anything happens for my FPL team.
I mean, having said that, like, if you're going to that game, you're going to be sitting with the home fans. You're probably going to want at least a Brentford goal so you can experience the limbs and them
Yeah,
going crazy.
yeah. 3-1. Holland hat trick.
There you go.
I mean, based on his form, I would not be surprised, right? He's looking very sharp. And at the beginning, I think he took a little time to get warmed up, is the little back issue, and then once he was ramped up in the second half, he was taking a few chances that looked
I have
pretty
a
impressive.
question for you then. If you're going to that game, are you going to triple captain him?
Oh wow, dude! I didn't even think about that, but low key, that would
Look,
be
I don't mind that, honestly. Just get it out of the way. Triple. If you're going to be there watching
yeah.
him, triple captain him.
I think for triple cap, I always want a person with a home, at least one home fixture. But you've planted that seed. That would be pretty fun to be in
And
person for a triple cap.
I mean,
I
yeah,
mean that.
because if you go ahead.
No, I mean that was part of the reason why I grabbed Salah. I'm like, I'm gonna be able to see the FPL goat in person while owning him in fantasy. Like that's a once in my little humble USA um, career. So
Yeah.
I have to go for it.
If you're going to triple captain Haaland, the other options are probably 13 against Leeds, 15 against Sunderland, or 17 against West Ham.
Yep.
You know, I don't think with the form he's in, Brentford are a good fixture for him, and you're going to be at the game. So just think about it.
Yeah.
Although you don't want to also be gutted while you're there if he doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I always root on for, when you have the home fixture, they might pile it on like they just did versus Burnley. In a away fixture, it's tougher to pile on. Like if a team goes down, 2-0, 3-0, like they show some fight just to keep the pride within the ranks of their fans. So, but yeah, I'll definitely think about it. It could be a fun shout there. So, um, elsewhere, is anybody targeting Newcastle assets? I mean, they're hosting Forest. Forest are reeling. Ange ball has not taken off. That's going to take some time to bed in. And I thought they looked, pretty spry versus Arsenal. This is probably the first game where their defense let up a number of chances. Trossard off the post, like I said before, Timber almost scored, give up a few late goals. But overall, I think they're entering a really nice fixture run. I have none of their assets in my team, but is there anybody that you would note here that could be viable for, especially for, well, people are targeting now game week 8 for wildcard. So curious your thoughts on Newcastle.
Yeah, I almost put Dan Burn in my wildcard. He was in one of my drafts. I had Burn and Rodon instead of 4.5. I like the look of the Newcastle defense. I'm not counting Arsenal as a fixture to judge a defense on because they're so good. At home to Nottingham Forest, I would fancy a clean sheet for Newcastle there. If I was on wildcard 7 or 8, I would definitely have a defender or Nick Pope. For
Yeah,
sure.
not a bad shout. Not a bad
I'm
shout. Pope
slightly
is
worried about who to go for in defense. I know Dan Burn I thought was completely nailed, but I talked to a couple of Newcastle fans and they said, when everyone's fit, there is a chance
right.
that he could not play the odd game.
And he just played fullback this past weekend,
Yeah.
I believe, right? So if Botman and Shar are there, will he rotate? Hall, who is a standout for FPL, kind of the early, maybe 15 game weeks last season before he got injured. He hasn't played very much at all yet, so I think he's probably itching to get back on the pitch as well.
I personally think Dan Burn is safe, but I don't know as much as Newcastle fans.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. Well, Tamade, we'll see if he continues to bed in and get some chances. So,
Something about him that's just not exciting, and I've
I
never
don't know about
considered him
that.
in the slightest.
I mean, he was brand new to the league, coming from the whatever league he was playing in. You got to let those players give him a few moments, because otherwise you might have somebody like Verts who just fucks you constantly in the wrong places.
That's right.
Ain't nobody want that. Ain't nobody want
No,
that. Let me tell you.
ain't nobody want that.
No means
Nobody
no,
got time
Verts.
for that.
No means no, Verts. All right. Any other things that are top of mind for you heading into the next game week? Do you have any dilemmas or anything in your team that applies to the macro community?
No, I mean, I wildcarded last week like you, so my plan is to hopefully save as many transfers as possible to get to at least 4.
Yeah, fair.
So, I think unless you're wildcarding, you're probably going to want to roll your transfer this week. I don't see any standout fixtures there to attack, other than if you're someone with no Arsenal defense, you're probably going to want to get at least 1 in, purely for effective ownership.
Yep, there we go. And I think that's a good transition to our hashtag FPL community questions. You know what time it is, Dan? What time is it?
Mailbag!
Oh, I love the spry nature of the
I mean,
British
it's
voice.
3:30 in the afternoon now. I'm a little bit more energetic.
This is my late lunch, baby. All right. Well, let me tell you, at my Cayman fan, aka Matt, wants to know, what is your take on Arsenal defenders not named Gabriel? So he's maybe considering a double or triple up here. So how would you rank the other assets alongside Gabriel, who's number one, and of course your boy over here fumbled the bag. He doesn't own him.
I assume he's not including David Raya in that question, because he would be my
We
number
can
2.
we can include Raya in there. Some people might go Petrovic or Pope in goal.
Yeah, for me it'd be Gabriel, Raya, Saliba. I think
Saliba.
Saliba's equally as nailed as Gabriel. I think he was just coming back from injury and just having his minutes managed. But the second mascara looked even slightly bad. Came on at halftime.
See ya.
So
Yep.
for me, it's Gabriel, Raya, Saliba.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the price difference between Timber and Calafiori, they're both 5.7, 5.8 now, so it's not much difference to go up and get the likes of Saliba or Gabriel. So I agree with your assessment there. It's just
I
interesting,
just
right?
can't get it out the back of my mind that when Ben White is back fit, that Timber's going to get rested some games.
Yeah, could be. Could definitely be the case. But double up, we definitely condone the double up here. Does look pretty tasty. All right, FPL Paz wants to know what the next window is for free hit. So you and I have still kept those chips in our back pocket. Have you thought about
I
when
have.
you might use it? Oh, you
I
have.
have.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Story time with Dan.
I
Here we go.
prepared for this. I have 2
Perfect.
game weeks in mind currently. First of all, game week 11, because that's when Liverpool play Man City. So there are some people who are going to have at least 4 assets from that game. During that game week, West Ham are at home to Burnley, Nottingham Forest are at home to Leeds, Chelsea are at home to Wolves, Arsenal are at Sunderland. So there's a lot of fixtures there that you're not going to own a lot of assets in. I think you could really attack that game week. Go, even do something wild like go triple West Ham, even something crazy like that. If Nuno has them looking good, that's one option, because then you can swerve that Liverpool Man City game, which is probably going to be cagey. My preferred option is probably, I was looking game week 15. Because in game week 15, you've got Newcastle at home to Burnley. You've got Man City at home to Sunderland. Liverpool away to Leeds. Brighton at home to West Ham. But the reason I'm targeting that game week is because Man City, Liverpool, and Newcastle, 3 really good teams, have all got the 3 promoted teams. So I would probably go for 9 players from those 3 teams.
Yeah, I love that. Versus, when we see these top teams play, especially this year where the defenses aren't that good for either Liverpool or City, I kind of expect there to be like a 2-1 result. And if you have some of their top assets, they could easily score in that match head to head. So going with the likes of some of those top teams versus the promoted teams just seems like it has a higher ceiling versus like risking your luck with West Ham triple up.
Yeah, I think just in a nutshell, I think Burnley at home is the best fixture in the league by far.
Okay.
So I think I would target free hit to get 3 players versus Burnley at home, especially a team that you don't already have their players for. So like
Okay.
someone like us who have 0 Newcastle, free hitting 3 Newcastle in Burnley at home, I think is a good strategy because I don't
Yep.
want them in the surrounding game weeks when they've got Man City, Everton, Tottenham.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having Voltamade, Gordon, and Shar on a random, free hit. That sounds fun, and not have those players after that. So I haven't given it too much thought. I think it's just kind of like a emergency chip that I'll use. I mean, not emergency, but I'm planning to use it later, game week 10 and beyond. Right now, I'm just focusing post wild card, kind of banking up some transfers. But definitely, you know, if you have a vibe when you want to hit it, like, our guy Connor Hunt just free hit it this week because he had no coverage of City, 5-1 victory. And unfortunately, he had Ryan, no, not Reinders. Who do you have? He had double defense
He,
and
he had no,
something
he
like
had
that.
Reinders, Foden, and Haaland,
Oh, he ended up on
and
triple.
he went double defense on Tottenham against Wolves.
Oh,
So yeah, it didn't really go great for Connor, other than he had Michael Keane because he also went double Everton defense.
wow.
But
What
that's
a
a good
call.
example. He picked 3 teams against teams who we thought were nailed bankers of a victory with high scores, and he just went for it. So I think that's the best strategy
Yep.
for the free hit the first half of the season. Just pick a game week where you're like, oh, I want 3 players from that team, that team, that team. Just go for it.
Yeah. Don't mind that at all. I mean, it's just the variance. Like, you get, if you go all in on double, triple defense and you get 1 clean sheet there, right? Like, you're kind of flying because nobody else on the field has kind of that huge double up or triple up. So it's an interesting way to play it. I just like Connor's all in nature of like, I'm going to go for some unconventional picks. And he's hit, bench boost 1, hit, who did he hit? Dan Ballard or whatever, Bellend,
Yep. Yep.
whatever his name is. Hit him
Dan
for
Bellin.
7. Hit him for 17 points is fucking flying. Oh my goodness. But yeah, rough result there for Connor on his free hit. All right, moving on. We have a next question from at FPL Fanatic AVFC, aka Expected Goat. Wow, that's a bold take right there for the Twitter handle. Any Arsenal midfielders who are worthy assets aside from Saka? Eze, Rice, nice run coming up. Eze looked great, but I just don't know what his minutes are going to be. If, like you said before, if Odegaard comes back, is he going to play centrally? He had a couple great. Just he's like his technique is just fabulous. So you saw him on a few rebounded scissor kicks in the air and just like beautiful technique to try and put that on target and force Pope into a few really good saves in that match. But I don't think there's another pick. I really don't. I think I would just go with one attacker you pick between Saka and probably Gyökeres, and then you have double defense.
Yeah. Same as me. I think Declan Rice,
He's just not
possibly.
getting DEFCON. I thought he might get some DEFCON points
Yeah.
to make him more viable, but he's not. So
He's on set pieces. That's the thing. I think, is he the one that delivered the corner for Gabriel? I think he was.
yeah, ended up a 9-pointer.
And he's only 6.5. So if you want to go there, I do love Eze. He'd be definitely in my team. He's so cheap at 7.5. But like I said, for all we know, next game he could be on the bench. And I want to go for people that play in 90.
Yep. Yeah, I guess Rice has hit DEFCON twice in 6 matches. You'd like it to be closer to like half the matches, but I think with Zumamendi there, kind of cleaning up a little bit of the defense work, just not sure how that's going to click. But
They also
I guess,
dominate possession, don't they? They just dominate possession. So
yeah,
people
I
that
mean
get
Rice.
DEFCONs are the teams that don't dominate possession.
I guess Rice does have 3 assists already.
Yeah,
That's
he's
not
a good
bad.
option. I don't mind him.
He's got 9, 3, 1, 4, 6, 6. Yeah, not bad. Not bad for a 6'5". So I just don't think, at least he's going to play a ton of minutes, whereas Eze, like, you could cameo for 21 minutes in any match, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's tough. Tough. All right, next question from at FPL Barrister, aka Jeremy, wants to know, who is the priority transfer? Raya, Gabriel, Saka, Gyökeres. Wow, there's a theme here.
Yeah.
People want to talk about Arscast. Is a -4 on the table to save the wild card? I mean, 4 points is like a million in overall rank. So
Yeah, I would definitely not take hits this point in the season. I don't see any of those guys worth a hit, and I would prioritize Gabriel out of those players.
I mean, especially with the mechanics of the wild card allowing you to have a transfer afterwards, there's no need, right? There's no need to, you can use your wild card and you still have transfers on the other side to fix any injuries or instantly. So you're not in a tough spot. And if you could roll 2-3 transfers, like I know that's what you and I did, have at least 2 coming out of wild card, gives you so much flexibility. So yeah, hits for me, even at my shitty rank, out of the question. No chance. Like play your 4.0 defender. Like play Rodon, play Alderete, play any of these guys who are actually like getting some points. Anybody but Esteve, Steve.
I think it's a lot more viable this season to just play your crappy defenders if you have to, rather than take a hit, because they could finish on 3 points.
Yep.
DEFCON. It makes you wonder, like, if Gabriel hadn't scored that goal, if it finished 1-1 and all of the Arsenal defenders
Yeah,
and
would he have
strikers
gotten
finished on
bonus?
2 points, would he have considered that? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Or I mean, maybe he still gets decent bonus in that match too. Maybe he's on 1 or 2 bonus points if that match ends 1-1, for example. Hard to say.
Just make the one move, Gabriel.
Yeah, I like it too. All right, Bucks, who is in Miami with his familia, enjoying some time. Man, he traveled with all 3 kids on an airplane down there. Can you imagine? You need the PJ at this point to bring that much stuff down to Miami. But he's enjoying the pool and the beach. He wants to know with this.
Is he gonna meet up with Paz? Because Paz lives in Miami.
I doubt it. I think Paz did he get married yet? He's coming up here on some pending nuptials, right? It's crunch time.
Yeah. I think he got married. We should know that.
Did he? Yeah.
Sorry, Paz.
I follow him on social. I'm sorry, Paz. Placido. Forgive me. I'm sorry. He wants to know, with the state of Chelsea, is João Pedro a keep or sell? Easy hold. Why? Who would you go to? I cannot wait to play probably a 5-4-1 very soon. Like as soon as I get rid of my bench boost, I am moving both of my strikers other than Haaland and moving them to 5.0 and a 4 point whatever, and just increasing my defenders. Because if you can get a situation where Gabriel gets 13 points, even though they conceded a goal and he scored, that's a haul.
Yeah. I think he's letting his Chelsea emotions get in the way a little bit there. I don't think
it's been a rough week.
I don't think there should be any rush to get JP out. If he still continues to blank in the next 2-3 games, then sure, let's think about taking him out. But they've got a really good run coming up. He's still on penalties. They're not going to get red cards every game, so I would hold him. There's no one to move him to.
Yeah, I hear you.
If you want to move him, like you said, you're probably going to upgrade your defense and play 4 at the back or 5 at the back. But then you're making 2 transfers. And I really think getting to at least 4 transfers in the next 3 or 4 game weeks is important. Because what if someone like Salah starts banging it again?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if you need some money to get somebody like Saka. Like if Saka were to be on pens, all of a sudden, it'd be like, oh.
He has Saka.
Well,
he doesn't
I know
have
Bucks does. I'm saying in general, though.
In general, yeah.
He's one of those higher ceiling players, or like, he's not going to hat trick, but he's definitely goal and assist type of player that we've seen quite a bit in the past, and bonus. So that's something where I would earmark potentially having some money for. But just hold João Pedro and hope that Chelsea stops getting fucking red cards. Wouldn't that be nice?
And if Palmer comes back and he's back on penalties and João Pedro is still not getting the returns, then yeah, he's a sell for me, because then he doesn't have penalties. And if you look at his record, even at Brighton, he's not a prolific goal scorer. He never has been. Most of his points came from penalties.
Yeah, he gets like 5 goals a season. So
there's just no one better right now, and he's being forced to play up front for Chelsea.
Yep. Completely agree. All right. Well, that wraps up FBL community questions. Thanks for engaging with us on the socials, giving us something to talk about. Very Arsenal focused, though. And hopefully next week we'll have less Arsenal questions and some other assets can be discussed. But that's where we're at after a lot of folks wildcarded and or are looking to use their free transfers on the Arsenal lads. All right, let's go to transfer plans and captaincy. Shouts! Shout it out from the rooftop, Black Wolf. Howl at the moon. What are you doing with your life this week?
I'm just rolling, like
Oh, chilling,
very
chilling.
boring. Rolling Captain Haaland. My only decision is I went for a bit of a world pick that I didn't discuss last week. I went for the double Bournemouth defense. So I
Oh,
picked
yeah, I saw that on social media. I was like, I don't know how this came to fruition.
because I just looked at their fixtures and I thought if I bench boost in the next few weeks, I think Bournemouth's defense is a good way to go. And I
Yep,
preferred Raya than Petrovic. So I thought, why not just use my other 4.5 for this guy? And he gets Defcons too. He got Defcons in the last game.
nice.
They're at home to Fulham
Who's
this
that,
week.
Diakite?
Yeah, Diakite.
Okay.
They're at home to Fulham, and he's currently on my bench. But I don't know who I would take out of the starting 11 to put him in. So he's probably going to stay there. But there is a slight temptation to take him out. I just don't know
Yeah,
who for.
Fulham are like plucky. They're always good for like one. They're not going to score like a ton of goals, but I feel like they're like quite often just ruining a clean sheet in the 76th minute because Iwobi comes on or who knows, Jimenez comes on. Just like, oh, they did nothing all game and then they just nabbed a goal.
So I'm just going to roll and just stick with the same 11 I played this week. Try and get to 4 free transfers, and then consider playing my bench boost probably game week 9.
Okay. Oh, all right. Game week 9 it is. I think I'm looking at game week 8 for bench boost, but we'll see if we can have somebody like I got Richarlison up top. Very disappointing performance from Spurs versus your team, and they get very fortunate and just take the pearls off your necklace and out of your clutches and get a draw. So I'm sorry about that, Black Wolf. I thought you
No,
really were on for your first 3-pointer.
I was devastated. I was trying
Oh,
to avoid
my
that this
poor
time.
baby. I hate to see you so sad, Dan. I want to see you smile and be happy and view the world with optimism. Instead, Paulinho takes it from you. I'm sorry, buddy.
Of course, it has to be a great finish like that. Why can't he just blast it over the bar? Why does it have to be
Yeah.
right in the corner?
Dude, Paulina's got like a lot of goals actually already this season between Champions League and cup competitions in the league. Great
I
addition
remember
for
when we
them.
podded preseason, I said I think Paulinho is going to be a good option.
Yeah.
Probably should
I
have
haven't
stuck
even
by
looked
that.
at his profile. Has he been hitting DEFCONs?
Yeah, he just
I
hasn't.
mean,
He's just not nailed. That's the problem.
yeah.
Otherwise, he probably would have been in my team. But
Yeah,
anyway,
2
to go back to
goals.
my
9
bench
4.
boost discussion, the reason I'm picking 9 is because by then I should hopefully have 4 free transfers,
Ooh,
so
very sexy.
I can move a couple of players if I have to make the bench
Yep.
boost better. And
Yep.
West Ham have Leeds, so I've got my eye on West Ham because if Nuno makes them really good, I might bring in 1 or 2 West Ham assets for the bench boost.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. It's hard to call Leeds. They're plucky. I would rather target Burnley, to be honest, but we will see how it plays out. Right now, I'm looking at my Burnley assets like Dubravka versus Stashman and who else do I have in my team? Somebody else.
Game week 9, by the way, Burnley are
Yep.
away to Wolves, so maybe I'll bring in a Wolves player
Yeah.
at home to Burnley.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, it's always a bit troublesome bench boosting after an international break too, because all of a sudden some guy pulls up with a 1-pointer and we're like, what? Where did this come from? So I'll have to pay attention to that. But I'm just joining you on the rolling, very, very boring toilet paper men over here. We're rolling our transfers, trying to get to 3 or 4 and then reassess the team. But I'm sitting at 5 million, 4.9, something like that. Highest rank of the season. So look out. I'm coming, boys. I'm coming.
Me too. I'm just outside the top 3 million now.
Man, experts galore here. Thanks for listening to the FPL USA Press Play podcast. If that's not a signing and ringing endorsement of why to listen to this expert analysis, I don't know what it is, but hopefully you're entertained. We thank you for tuning in as always, and we'll catch you on the other side. We will have some stories from my trip to London when I come back from the pod many moons from now, but lined up for a nice see the matches, spend the week in London, and then I'll come back and then we'll pod maybe Monday or Tuesday before the game week 8 deadline. So until then, enjoy your matches, enjoy your FPL points, and may your arrows be green. Farewell, Black Wolf.
Bye.